Shalom to all! Today's daf is Rosh Daf Chav Zayin, and we are starting at the very top of the daf. And today's daf is sponsored Lilu Nishmas. Mars Miriam Sarah Bas Rabbi Yaakov Moshe her neshama should have an aliyah. And Lilu Nishmas Rabbi Chmiel Mordechai ben Reb Chaim his neshama should have an aliyah. And in honor of the yahrzeit of Rabbi Aziz ben Rabbi Yecheskel his neshama should have an aliyah, and he should be a Meilus Yosher for his family and all of Klal Yisrael. And the Mishnah said Upiv Mitzvah Zav that the shofar of Rosh Hashanah in the Beis Hamikdash was coated with gold. The Gemara asks Vatani, we have a brayso that suppose of Makam Anachas Piv Pasol that if you coated it with gold by the mouthpiece, so it's Pasol. Shalei Makam Anachas Piv Kasher, only if it's not by the mouthpiece, then it's kosher. So Rabbi he answers, Kitanan Masisin, when our Mishnah was teaching this halacha, Shalei Makam Anachas Petinan, it was teaching the halacha that it's coated with gold, just not near the mouthpiece. And the Mishnah said that we have two chatzotros, two trumpets, one on either side of the shofar that was blown in the Beis Hamikdash, and they all start the blast together, and the shofar blast is elongated, it goes longer than the chatzotros blast. The Gemara asks, is it possible to distinguish between these two different sounds, the chatzotros and the shofar? Vatani, we have a brayso. Zachar v'shamar dibur echad nemru Hashem. At Har Sinai said Zachar v'shamar in the same dibur, and this is something something that the human mouth cannot produce and the ear cannot actually process. So the ear can't process two different sounds. So how is it possible that a person's yaitza his shofar blasts with this if we have two different sounds at the same time? So the Gemara answers that's why the Mishnah said that he has to elongate the shofar blast longer than the chatzotros so we can only hear the shofar. And remember, that means to say the chisham asaf tekiah, when he hears the end of the tekiah below tchilas tekiah without the beginning of the tekiah yatza, he's still going to be yaitza. And umela tchilas tekiah below asaf tekiah yatza, that also means that if he hears the beginning of the tekiah without the end of the tekiah, he's going to be yaitza as well. But now we're going to ask a question on that. Tashma, we have a brayso that says Taka Barishana, the first tekiah that he blew of the set of tekiah true tekiah was a regular tekiah. But then umashach b'shniya kishtayim, the second tekiah that he blew, meaning the end of the first set, the beginning of the second set, he blew a tekiah that was as long as his two tekiyahs, and biyad eloi achas, he only has one tekiyah, which means when he wants to blow the beginning tekiyah of the next set, he has to blow another one, even though the one he blew right beforehand was double length. And the Gemara asks, Amai, why should that be? Let's split it into two. Since we said if you heard the beginning of the tekiyah without the end tekiyah, or the end of the tekiyah without the beginning, he's going to be yaitze. So let's just take this really long tekiyah, split it into two, and now it's considered like he has two tekiyahs. So the Gemara answers, no, that's not a question, because we're not going to split a tekiyah in half. But if you did hear the end without the beginning, or the beginning without the end, he's going to be yaitze. So Tashma, we ask another question. Let's say a person blew his shofar into a pit, or into a cistern or cellar, or into a large barrel. Imkal shofar shama. If he heard the sound of the shofar, so then yatza he's going to be yaitze. Imkal havara shama. But if he heard the sound of the echo, so then lo yatza he's not yaitze. But we ask him, why should that be? Lepik b'tchilas tekiah. He should be yaitze with the beginning of the tekiah. Mikmi the larabei of kala, before all the sounds got mixed up, meaning before the echo got mixed in with the sound of the shofar. So we answer, you're right. When we say that trei kali lo mishtamai, that we're not able to hear two sounds, we're not able to distinguish between two sounds at once, that means if both those sounds are coming from the same person. But mitrei gavri mishtamai, if two sounds are coming from two different people, so then we can distinguish between those sounds, and that's when in the Beis Hamikdash, when we have the shofar and the chatzotros being blown at the same time, a person could be yotze with those because he's able to distinguish the sound of the shofar from the sound of the chatzotros. We ask, mitrei gavri mishtamai, is it really possible to distinguish between two sounds that are coming from two separate people? But Tanya, we have a brayso. But Tyra, when a person's reading Tyra, echad kaira ve'echad metargim, so one person reads the Tyra, and then he pauses, and then one person translates. That's as long as one person doesn't read the Torah and two people translate. That's because two people translating at the same time, we can't distinguish between their voices. So we see clearly that even though we have two sounds coming from two different people, they're indistinguishable from each other. So Gemara says, you're right. Halei Dami, our Mishnah is only comparable El Seifa to the Seifa this brayso. But Halal of Megillah, when we're talking about Halal and reading the Megillah, Afilu Asara Kairin, even if we have 10 people reading and 10 people translating at the same time, a person could be yaitze with that. Alma, we see from here, Kim the Chaviv, since it's very dear to him, it's very beloved to him, Yahiv Daita, so he's able to focus, he's able to zone in on one person, and therefore he's yaitze Megillah and Halal. Hachanami, so to here with Shofar, Kim the Chaviv, since the mitzvah of Shofar is very dear to him, it comes only once a year, Yahiv Daita, so he's able to focus only on the sound of the Shofar, Vishama, and then he could hear it, and then he's going to be yaitze. That's similar to someone with an affinity for certain instruments, so he can listen to music and focus only on that instrument, even though there's a whole ensemble playing. So it's the same thing over here. He's able to focus only on the shofar, even though there's shofar and chatzotros. But now the Gemara asks, so why is it that he has to elongate the blast of the shofar? We had understood that the reason why he has to sound the shofar blast much longer is that everyone could hear only the shofar blast. Over here we're saying it doesn't make a difference if there's a lot of noise going on. He can focus in only on the shofar. So we answer, that's just so that everyone should know that the main mitzvah of the day is the shofar, but he can still be at his chiyav even though there's also chatzotros blowing at the same time. And we say the Mishnah B'Tanyas on a fast day, b'shel zecharim kefufim, so we have a bent ram's horn, upiv mitzupa kesef, and that was plated with silver. The Gemara asks, Mashna hasim dezav, why is it that on Rosh Hashanah we plate it with gold, and Mashna hachli the kesef, why is it that on a fast day that shofar is coated with silver? So Ibai saying, if you want to say kol kenofi the kesefu, anytime we want to gather Klal Yisrael together, so that instrument used is actually made out of silver. It says in the pasuk, aseh lecha shtei chatzotros kesef, make for yourself two silver trumpets, and these were meant for gathering everyone together. So that means means anytime we want to gather people together on a fast day, we blow shofars to gather everyone together. So those are going to be plated with silver. Alternatively, we could say the Torah is careful with money of Klal Yisrael. We know this concept from if tzaras is found on someone's house, everything inside becomes tamei, but only after the kohen pronounces it tamei. So the kohen first allows the homeowner to remove all the objects that can't be made tahor, such as earthenware vessels, clay cheres, because of this principle v'atar chasal manim Yisrael. And therefore, Chazal didn't want to require the community fund to spend so much money to coat the shofar of the fast day with gold. The Gemara asks Hasam Nami, so over there also, meaning the shofar of Rosh Hashanah, Nava the Kesef, so we should make it out of silver, meaning we should coat it with silver instead of coating it with gold because it's cheaper. So we answer, Afilu Hachi, even so, you're right, we do want to save money, but Kavod Yantif Adif. Kavod Yantif overrides the Tara Chasal Manim Yisrael, and therefore on Yantif we're going to want it coated with gold. Now, Rav Papa Bar Shmuel Sarvel Mevid over the Kemas Nisim, Rav Papa Bar Shmuel, he wanted to do like our Mishnah said, that on Rosh Hashanah he wanted to blow one shofar in the middle, two chatzos on the outside, and on a fast day, two shofars on the outside, two chatzos on the inside. Amalei Rava told him, Loi Amru El Mikdash. This was only said in the Beis HaMikdash. That's when we do this. However, outside the Beis HaMikdash, it's only a shofar. And Hayanami Hach, we have a brass like this. What matter? Remember when is it that we said that we have chatzos and a shofar Mikdash that's only in the Beis HaMikdash? Aval Begavulin. But outside the Beis HaMikdash, Makam Sheish chatzos and shofar, a place where the main thing is to blow chatzos, which is a fast day, so we don't blow shofar. Makam Sheish shofar, a time where the main thing is to blow shofar, which is Rosh Hashanah, and chatzos, we don't blow chatzos. And V'chein Henig Rebbe Chalafta B'tzipar Reb Chanani Ben Teradim Mesichni, they both wanted to do like it says in our Mishnah. They want to blow both chatzos and shofars. And Ochshabad Davar Eitzel Chamim, when this matter came to the Chamim, Amru, they said, Loi Hayu Naigin Kain El B'Sharim Mezochu B'Har Bayis Bolvad. This custom is only at the eastern gate on the Har Bayis, meaning only in the Beis HaMikdash. And Amar Rav Vitem Rabbi Shua ben Levi, Ma'ikra, what's the pasuk that supports this? The Chesiv, it says the pasuk B'Chatzos V'Kol Shofar, with chatzos and the sound of a shofar. Hari Lifnei HaMelech Hashem, sound a blast in front of the King Hashem. Lifnei HaMelech Hashem, who to begin chatzos of Kol Shofar. It's only in front of Hashem that we blow chatzos and Kol Shofar, meaning only in the Beis HaMikdash. Aval Ba'al Maloi, but if it's outside the Beis HaMikdash, we don't have a Beis HaMikdash, so then we only sound either shofar or chatzos. And we had said in the Mishnah that Shavah HaYovel, Rosh Hashanah, that Yom Kippur of Yovel year is similar to Rosh Hashanah, Litkiya when it comes to blowing the shofar, and Ula Brachas, the brachas of Musaf Shemona Esrei of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur Yovel are the same thing. And Amar Shmuel Bar Yitzchak, he says, Kaman Matzlin Ha'idna, according to whom are we davening like nowadays? We have in Musaf of Rosh Hashanah, it says, Zeh HaYom Tchilas Masecha, this is the day that was the start of your deeds, of your performance, meaning of your creation. Zikaron L'Yom Rishon, a remembrance of the first day. Kaman, who's that like Rabbi Lezer? That's like Rabbi Lezer. The Amar, he says, B'Tishrei Nivra Olam, the world was created on Tishrei, and that's what we say, Zeh HaYom Tchilas Masecha, this was the day of the start of your deeds, meaning you created the world on Tishrei. But now, Masav Rav Einer asked the following question. We had said in our Mishnah, Shavah Yovel Rosh Hashanah L'Tkiyu L'Brachas, Yom Kippur of Yovel and Rosh Hashanah are similar when it comes to Tkiyah Shofar and the brachas of Musaf Shemona Esrei, but how could that be? We have that part of Musaf Rosh Hashanah, the Rosh Hashanah Isa B'Yovel, that's relevant only on Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah was the beginning of the world, but Yovel is not the beginning of the world, so how can we say that they're similar in brachas? So we say no, Ki Ketani, when did our Mishnah say that the Yom Kippur of Yovel and Rosh Hashanah are similar when it comes to brachas? Ashar, that means all the remaining brachas, just not that specific bracha. Now Rav Shisha Brei Rav Idi Masni Hachi, he taught it as follows. Amar Shmuel Bar Yitzchak Hadit Nan, that which our Mishnah says, Shav HaYovel Rosh Hashanah L'Tkiyu L'Brachas, that Yovel of Yom Kippur is similar to Rosh Hashanah when it comes to blowing shofar and the